Hi guys!
Hello, and thanks for joining us this World Children's Day. Today, we are going to be hosting a live build and talk session on the really important subject of cyberbullying. Now, we know that most parents and caregivers worry about bullying when their kids are online or social apps, but it is a difficult subject to talk about. I mean, where do you even start? Maybe you feel like you don't know enough on the subject yourself, or you just don't know how you can even start off a conversation that could be really scary and really awkward. And we totally get it. It is tough. So, hopefully, today we can answer some of your questions and help provide some tools that will kickstart a really great conversation about cyberbullying with you and your kids. I'm Amy Corbett, Senior Design Manager at the Lego Group and Judge on Lego Masters USA. And today I am joined by my awesome colleague and co-host for this session, Matthew.
Hi guys, lovely to meet you. I'm Matthew Ashton and I'm Vice President of Design at the Lego Group, working alongside Amy. And very much like Amy, I've also been a judge on Lego Masters, but in the UK version of the show. So we're very happy to see so many of you joining us today. We're also joined by a very special guest, Rocio Aznar Daban. She's a child protection specialist at UNICEF. Hello, Rocio.
Hi.
So, and for you guys that don't know what UNICEF is, it's the United Nations Children's Fund. And as an organization, their focus is on protecting children's rights all over the world. So, Rosia, very happy to have you here.
Hi, Matthew, Amy. Thank you so much for having me today. Such a pleasure to be here celebrating this special day with Lego.
Oh, thank you. So any of you guys that might have any questions for Rosia on cyberbullying, then please pop them in the chat and the comments section, and Amy and I will do our absolute best to make sure we get as many of those questions in front of her as we can. So to get started, this is going to be a build and talk event, which means Amy and myself are going to be getting a little bit creative while we're chatting with Rocio. So we have been tasked to create a character that embodies online positivity. And what could be more important than sharing a little bit of kindness, especially online at the moment, because it's so difficult to see each other in real life. So that's our little task. You are more than welcome at home to go and grab your box of bricks and join in and build along with us. And that would be really, really fun if you did that. We have had a little think about what we're going to create. So, Amy, do you want to tell everybody what your plans are?
Yes. So, Matthew, the internet is an awesome place, so inspiring, and it's a great place to connect with communities and link with like-minded people. And I love chatting to the Lego community online and get so much love and awesome comments about the sets we make. But when you're online, for every maybe 100 or 200 nice comments, there's also always one that's not so nice. And that's always the one for me that kind of sticks with me, no matter how many good. It's always the bad one. So I want to build a character today that reminds me what's special about me and all the positive things that my friends and family love about me. And I'm going to have that sitting next to my computer.
Oh, and I'm going to be building a little heart-shaped character that's going to be made up of multicolored pieces. And that's to sort of represent all the different kinds of people that there are in the world. And then hopefully, if I have enough time and get this right, I want to build in a little function that will enable him to reach out and give everybody a big online virtual hug, because I think that's what we all need right now. So we're going to get building. I think we're going to start by asking Rosia the question that I think everybody has a fairly good understanding of what bullying itself is, but what is cyberbullying and how's that different?
Thank you, Matthew. You're right. Most of the people would understand that bullying is an intentional harm doing against another child who is somehow perceived to having difficult times in defending themselves. So it is really something that is unwanted, that is aimed at scaring, angering, or shaming the other child, and that is repeated over time. And where there is a perceived imbalance or difference of strengths. Now, cyberbullying is bullying done online, is bullying using digital technologies. Some of the very common examples of cyberbullying behavior would entail spreading lies or rumors, posting embarrassing pictures, or private photos of the child online, making cruel jokes, or posting mean comments, or constant likes, sending hurtful messages or private threats, or even smashing things up in games or picking up on younger gamers.
Mhm.
And Rocio, where are some of the main digital places that you might find that a child encounters this kind of bullying?
So basically, Amy, in any platform where children can interact with each other, and that includes social media platforms, messaging platforms, it can be WhatsApp, in-gaming platforms. So everywhere where they can interact with each other. So we need to be
Mhm.
alert as parents on all of the platforms our children use to communicate.
Yeah, man, I guess there's so many digital places that where they can get bullied, and in some cases it might even be by people that they know. So it could be somebody from school, for example. So can you sort of talk to us about that?
Absolutely. And I think it is important to understand that and cyberbullying are two sides of the same coin. So very, very often cyberbullying starts at school, starts with the friends of the child, with the peers of the child, and then at some point it goes online. And it may be because the bully cannot longer bully the child because the school has taken measures, and then well they go online because there's a certain impunity or perceived impunity online, or just simply to multiply the bully's audience. So indeed, it happens offline and then it takes off offline, involving children the child knows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've talked about kids that the child knows. What about people you don't know? Because of course that's one of the amazing things about the internet is we can actually connect with people all over the world, but there's also some challenges posed by that too.
Absolutely, and actually, this is the usual case. So when in the moment that bullying takes goes online, that and having understanding that many children and their social media accounts are public, and sometimes they don't know the consequence of that. It means that basically the audience is just enormous. It gets really very large. So it's not only the children in their classroom, but it's all the children in the school, children from the other schools that are connected to the same social media. And then you may get, of course, children you don't know from other districts, from the neighborhood, and even adults that are all involved. So suddenly you may have not only one cyberbully, you may have hundreds of cyberbullies
Mm-hmm.
that you don't
And
know.
I think when I was younger, at least, when I was dealing with some of that myself, obviously not cyberbullying because computers went around then. People were painting nasty cave paintings of me, but no, so I shouldn't joke about something like that. But I think I found it very difficult that I didn't really want to talk to my parents about it because in some ways I felt if I told off the bully or got the bully in trouble, then they may make it even worse for me in the future. So how do you find that kids will talk to their parents, or is it something that needs to happen the other way around?
Well, actually, we know that most children don't tell adults that they're being bullied. And this is
Mm-hmm.
interestingly enough because of the prevalence of bullying is so high. We know that 1 in 3 children globally experience bullying and 1 in 10 experience cyberbullying. So it's quite a difficult topic, though, to discuss with a child, regardless of the age. And this may be because they feel powerless. They may think, well, it's a normal childhood experience. I must endure, or they may feel scared of the consequences of disclosing to the parents. So what happens is that this
Yeah,
situation is really aggravated when if the family does not engage regularly in conversations about the children's feelings and lives. So that is
yeah.
so crucial to have regular conversations and open communication with our children from a tender age so they open up later in life.
And that's some of the hope we have with the tools that we're providing is that by spilling out your box of Lego bricks, maybe you have a little bit of a buffer to help you to have that difficult conversation, to maybe reenact some scenarios and to take a little bit of the pressure off of having this really serious conversation. And for those of you who have just joined us, we are having a live build and talk session on the subject of cyberbullying.
Yeah. So I think what would be really helpful is if you could sort of explain what sort of signals you may be able to see from a child that may be an indication of the fact that they may be bullying, because I guess the problem with this is because it happens on screens, it happens in headsets, it happens behind closed doors, it's very difficult for the parents to be aware of that. So what kind of indicators could you sort of call out that may be able to help parents spot that?
Thank you. I think this is a really very important point for parents to know. Definitely, there are a series of signs we need to be alert about. Those are signs of distress in children, and those includes very generally withdrawal, sadness, burst of emotions, feelings of helplessness or decreased self-esteem. Sometimes self-destructive behaviors such as running away from home. Sometimes children get very secretive and obsess about their online activities, and we need to be alert about that. Sometimes there's sudden loss of friends or changes in friendships or even avoidance of social situations. And when cyberbullying happen offline, actually the children may come home with lost items or clothes or unexplained injuries. And it also can have a physical manifestation with frequent headaches, stomach aches, feeling sick, even faking illness or changing in sleeping or eating habits. And very often I've seen that myself, is that sometimes good students or even regular students would have declining grades all of a sudden and loss of interest in school, not wanting to go to school altogether.
So there's a lot of different ways to spot it, I guess. Some things are bigger, but some are obviously more subtle that you've got to keep an eye out, and that's why it's great to find a way to talk about it so that you can make sure you catch things early. I guess one of the other questions we have is, what about the way they? You've talked about some different signs we can see in their behavior. What about the way they behave around their digital devices? Is there any signs there that we can look out for?
Yes. Of course, some of these signs may be an indication of something else, but one of the signs that I mentioned is, when the children get very obsessed with this and have an urgency to check, and you see them stressed about that, and even secretive or hiding what they have when you enter into the room. Of course, this may be a sign of something else, but in any case, this is a call for us to pay attention, to talk to our children, and know what's going on.
So, sorry, a few questions popping up here. So it seems really important to keep up with what they're doing online. So how are they socializing digitally?
Yeah, this is really very important. We know that more and more children are online just to socialize. And in 2020, this is really the case where children have been cut off of their schoolmates, of their friends under this global lockdown and containment measures. So it is the only way to really socialize and even to learn through the social media platforms mostly, but even the gaming. I see it in my own 13-year-old boy. It really socialized through the gaming platforms. So absolutely, they now socialize through social media and all these platforms. Hence, it's so important that we are on top of what they're doing online, and then we have just normal discussions and conversations with them about their online world and take an interest in what they're doing.
Because of course the internet is a fabulous place and it is a way for us to keep connected, as you said, during this time. So by no means do we want to stop children from going on the internet, right? It's just about looking for the signs, having regular conversations so that you can stay ahead of things and know what to look for.
So how's your building going, Amy?
Actually, I'm quite far ahead. It's going well. I've got some little pencils here.
That's looking good.
You can see a little bit of inspiration
over there.
Maybe come from what's in front of me here. And I think there was a question earlier, Matt, to us if we had experienced cyberbullying ourselves, because it is something that is very common these days, actually, right?
I think it is, and obviously putting ourselves out there and being on TV and being part of Lego Masters, there's so much sort of positivity around the show and everything, but at the same time, we're still human beings, and we have to make decisions that may upset certain people and things on TV, and then we can kind of get a little bit of backlash because of that. So there have been a few mean things said about both of us, which is so hard, I feel, for us to deal with, and we're obviously adults and have got a little bit sort of tougher skin than kids probably have. So for children to be going through that, I think must be really, really tough. And I think as well, we're sort of mature enough in a way to sort of let it go and be like, look, it's one bad apple in amongst a lot of sort of positivity. But for a small child that doesn't know that, and then they may also then retaliate and give the bully the attention that they're looking for, and then I'm sure that can quickly sort of escalate as well. So I think yes, we deal with a little bit, but I think it's much more difficult for a child to be going through that.
Definitely,
so, yes,
definitely. And it's so easy when you're on the other side of the screen. I think often it can happen with adults, it can happen with kids, that sometimes you get carried away, you forget that there's a person at the other side of the screen, because it is a virtual to virtual relationship. So I think reminding our kids, it's like talking to a real person. How would you like someone to talk to yourself? Just reminding people to be kind. And likewise, if you are being bullied, it's not about responding in a negative way. Also, it's all about kindness, but it's really tough if you're having someone say negative things about you to deal with it.
Exactly, because I think as well, it can, obviously everybody has their insecurities and things that they're not confident about themselves, and when that's sort of highlighted in such a public way, it can be quite tough as well. And I think the one thing with bullying as well, it's not nice in the minute when it's happening, especially for kids, but some of that can then sort of live with them for a lifetime as well. So I think that's why it's so important to be able to find some time to have these conversations with your kids and things, and to make sure it's a regular check-in. So that's why we've put together a very special pack for you guys at home. So we're launching a Build and Talk activity pack, which can help you sort of tackle these really tricky conversations over a box of bricks, kind of like what Amy and I are doing at the moment. And this activity pack includes a load of inspirational material, so you can create little monsters like this that represent some of the nasty things that go online, and then you can use the activities and the chance that you're building and playing with your kid in a more relaxed way to sort of have these conversations a little bit more naturally, in a way that they feel like not all of the pressure's on them. So if you want to download this activity pack, it's completely free. So just go to lego.com, and it's lego.com/cyberbullying. And then there's a load of information there that you can use to kickstart these conversations, and also make it a regular thing to make sure you're checking in with your kids.
So, got a few more questions for you here, just kind of catch up a little bit. So, of course, I'm sure people are wondering, if your child does experience bullying, what are some things that you can do?
Yes, just going back to the point, really, cyberbullying can be devastating for a child, and the child may feel that the whole world is collapsing and there's no escape. So I understand when a parent finds out that a child is being cyberbullied, it is very painful, but there are still things you can do and you must do. The first one is make sure your child is safe and feels safe. It should be our foremost priority, and we need to convey our unconditional support to our child. Very importantly, we need to talk to the child and listen to the child, take the time to understand what is really happening. It's not the time to minimize the situation or even to make excuses for the aggressor. Another thing parents can do is collect evidence, take notes of the details of the incidents, locations, who is involved, the frequency. It is using screenshots and so on. And we need to work very closely with the school. As I said, cyberbullying very usually involves children in the school, and the school must ensure that our child feels safe at all times in and around the school. And also that they come up with a plan on how to solve the situation. Schools are putting in place amazing policies and methods to put the children closer together again through restorative approaches. But very important to tell parents that you may need to seek counseling for your child if the child really shows signs of distress that are very worrying. And if there's any physical threat or physical attacks or any other illegal action, it is important to call the police if there is really an immediate danger. So I think those are good tips for parents to take home.
And if this is sort of happening online within a game, for example, what should either kids or parents do in regards to reporting that, and how do they go about it?
That's an excellent question, because what we know is that usually what goes online stays online. Unless we take measures, immediate measures to report it, it's very important that between the parents and the children, they agree on the content provider, the social media platform or whatever platform they're using, so that they can remove the content that is upsetting the child. And also, it's very important that parents help the children set the privacy settings. It's amazing how many children do not know about the privacy settings, that they can either block and they can restrain the person from contacting you. Many people are worried that, well, I don't want to block the person completely. It may backlash, or I want to keep an eye on the bully. That's fine. There are ways to restrain the child from maybe posting, or maybe the child can post, but people won't see the post. So there are different ways, but we need, as parents and children, make sure we understand the privacy settings, and then we set the settings right.
I think that's great to highlight, because I'm sure there's many parents that are watching right now that don't even realize that they can take some action with these privacy settings and actually make it a little bit easier to deal with. I can see we have a live question here from Chris asking if online platforms are actually doing enough to protect our kids from cyberbullying.
There's always room for improvement, but I have to say that digital platforms I put in, the legitimate ones, I put in tools in place, as I said, the privacy settings. Many of them are using even intelligence, artificial intelligence to identify keywords, and even such an Instagram giving you a message, are you sure you want to send this out? So yes, some tools are being there. Most of the legitimate platforms have clear rules about bullying. Cyberbullying is not acceptable, and there is an open invitation, encouragement to children and parents to report it, so that the platform can remove the content. Without an individual report, it's difficult to take action. So room for improvement, but we're definitely going in the direction of better protecting children.
That's really great to hear.
And it looks like you've got pretty far with your building now, and I'm done. So do you want to show everybody what you've made?
Yes, of course I can. I was going to add one little finishing touch, but I can't find it. Here we go, we can add this. But as I mentioned before, I really think that one of the best ways that you can deal with the negative energy is to really remember the positive energy in yourself. And so my little mascot is a little magical narwhal here. I don't know if you can see it on screen. It's fabulous. It's colorful. It's got little sparkly bits, and it even has a heart-shaped tail, just to remind you to
looks
be
amazing.
Kind, to be kind. And then I also have some pencils here to represent creativity, because of course one of the things that I love about myself, and I know my friends and family love, is that I'm creative. So that's my little build there. What about you,
And
Matthew?
I finished my little guy as well. So he's this little rainbow colored guy to represent all different types of people, as I said. And I have managed to build in the little function. So bring it in, guys, bring it in. Big hug. Yay! So there you go. That's my little guy to sort of represent online positivity for everybody and to spread a little joy around the world.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I feel like you're going to have to make
That's what we need.
Because lots of people are going to want to make it after watching this. So I guess we're kind of wrapping up towards the end of this session. We've chatted a lot, but Rocio, for the people watching at home, the parents watching at home, do you have kind of some key takeaways that people can take from watching this?
Absolutely. So first of all, know what bullying and cyberbullying is, why it happens, where and how it happens. Really be able to identify those signs of distress. Of course, maintain an open, honest, and regular communication with your child and building that trusting relationship. Know what's going on in your child's life, including online. Another point I think is important is, let's get comfortable as parents navigating the digital platforms our children use. Sometimes it's not easy, but I think we need to be up to date on what the new apps and what they like. So it is really very important. Empower your child to make sure he or she knows how to make a safe use of internet and those settings we're talking about, and foster a kinder behavior on and offline. Be a role model in that respect, and be prepared, because cyberbullying can happen and can enter our lives. And if that happens, be ready to know then what to do.
I think that's great tips. Of course, the best things, to be prepared, to have as much information as you can, and to talk regularly about it so that you can deal with things. But I think there's lots more information that you can find and guidance of how to deal with things on the UNICEF website. So definitely check that out if you have any more questions.
Yes, and as a little reminder about the activity pack, so you can sit down, build some really fun things with your kids that are going to spark off some conversations and make this hopefully a bit easier for you to be able to chat about these difficult topics. Then go to lego.com/cyberbullying for the free activity pack. And hopefully that will make everything a little bit easier for you to engage in a chat that's going to be so important for your kids. So I think that's pretty much it from us. So we want to say thank you, Rocio, for joining us and offering us all of that amazing advice. And for everybody at home, thank you for joining us as well. So it's been very important to do this
so
week,
much.
this week, because it is anti-bullying week. And yes, so thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, guys. And hopefully we can see you again soon.
And happy World Children's Day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.